Moving on here. Moving on to probably one of my favorite players, probably my favorite player of all time. Shaquille O'Neal. Orlando Magic are going to retire Shaquille O'Neal's jersey, retire Shaq's jersey number 32 on February 13th, 2013, becoming the first player in Orlando Magic history to have his jersey retired. And Shaq basically brought me into the game of basketball. I'm going to be talking about that at some point, trying to do a Boston Basketball Chronicles of how I got into basketball and just my outlook on the game. But Shaq basically brought me into the NBA in terms of his size, in terms of just seeing him dunk everything. That was the first thing I noticed about Shaq. He dunked everything. And I asked my brother, who's that? And he said, it's Shaq. And Shaq dunked everything. I'm from Boston. Wore Reebok. I actually have the picture here. Wore Reebok. Was a big Shaq fan. And blue is my favorite color. The Magic wore blue. Everything. Shaq was just everything as a kid, dunking the basketball, being as big, goofy, rapping, entertaining. Shaq was all of that. So just look at that from that perspective. Shaq was just everything that brought me to the game. Entertainment, size, strength, dunking, everything, his ability to connect with the fans off the court, everything was Shaq as a kid, like everything. I'll go back to that picture. Everything was Shaq. NBA Jam was Shaq. Everything was Shaq. So he's my favorite player of all time. And to have Orlando finally do that, long overdue. And I feel like in their short franchise, they can afford to do that, especially the impact Shaq had on that franchise and that community down there, and basically putting Orlando on the map for that short time in those 4 years that he played there. Shaquille O'Neal from 92 to 96, 27.2 points per game, 12.5 rebounds, 2.8 blocks over 4 years, four-time All-Star each year that he was there, and one Rookie of the Year down there in 92, 93 season, along with Lonzo Mourning and those guys like that he had to battle against. And just looking at how impressive Shaq was and just how impactful he was. I can't speak enough to that of how much Shaq was a part of my NBA journey as a kid, where my fandom really picked up. Especially I hated when they lost to the Rockets in the 95 finals. I hated the color red because it was the opposite of blue. I hated Alondra and Kenny because they were on the Rockets and they wore red. And I'm like, these guys are bad guys and all this other stuff. But Shaq meant so much to me as a basketball fan because of his impact, and that started in Orlando. And I will not think Orlando Shaq is the best Shaq, even though he went to LA and won NBA championships and stuff of that nature, and MVPs in LA and with Miami, and then ventured out to Boston in this last year and got there. But just looking at Shaq in Orlando was just so impactful in style and swag. Yeah, Shaq was the man. Shaq was the man for me as a kid growing up. So kudos to Shaq finally only getting his jersey retired in Orlando. Already has it retired in LA. I believe LSU as well. So just kudos to Shaq, man. That's cool that he's getting his jersey retired in Orlando, and especially on a season where Orlando is playing so well. Currently 20-15, also tied for 5th place in the Eastern Conference. So that's pretty good. Pretty good for Shaq. Awesome for him. And congratulations to the big man, the Diesel. Moving on here.